I'm Jeff Sayadek, designer of Battlestations Dirtside.
I'm Joey Vigor, I'm the producer of Dirtside, and in this video we're going to be talking about driving and vehicles going through terrain.
Yes. There's cars and bikes, and you can set each to motor or jet configuration.
Yeah, and that changes how they handle different kinds of terrain.
Right. So driving is a piloting action. Regardless of what kind of vehicle you're operating, you're going to roll 2 dice and add your piloting skill, and that's how many spaces you can go. And
that's the speed, obviously, that you're driving.
Right. That's the maximum speed you can go in a turn.
Right. So this is not like a skill check where you have a target number where you're like, oh, I hope I get an 11. This
point.
is like, I hope I get a high number so I can go really far.
Right.
And that's basically just like how good you are on the gas, basically.
Yes. Now, you might want to select to go fewer spaces than listed because the place where you need to go is closer. But also, if you need to do any maneuvers along the way, the number that you choose up to your for your speed is the difficulty of any maneuvers you do. So if you needed to drive, through the trees or fly your jet bike through the trees, then you might not want to say, oh good, I rolled a 10 and I've got a 3 skill so I can get 13 spaces. You might say,
after the first 8 spaces getting thwacked in the face,
yes, you might say, okay, we'll pick a lower number.
It takes an automatic action to get into a car, whether it's a jet car or a motor car. But you can pretty much slide onto a bike.
Yes, it's a free action to get on a bike. It's also a free action to cling on to a car.
To any vehicle, basically.
Or to cling on to a bike. If a bike can hold 2 people, but if there's already 2 people on it and you want to be like the Flying Walendas and jump on also.
Right, now there's actually a patent pending term which Jeff invented called cling on, and that represents the people who are clinging on to the sides of a vehicle. So driving a vehicle does cost your movement action, and being in a vehicle that is moving you costs you your movement action.
Right.
We talked about that.
But it's also important to note that spends your move action, but if you don't have a move action left, you can still do it.
Oh, that's it. So I can run, and you're like, quick, cling on.
Yes.
And I can spend my... Is it a free action to cling on?
It's a free action to cling on.
So I'm like, oh my gosh, I've just barely made it to the car, but I don't have any actions or movement left. You're like, cling on, dude.
Grab
and
on.
I cling on, and then you're like, rum, 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 and then we zoom off.
But the speed that I choose is the difficulty of his athletics check to stay on the vehicle.
Oh, because I might fall off.
You might fall off.
Is that called a maneuver check? Oh, no, sorry.
That's the cling on check.
Cling on check. Okay. That's to check to make sure your prosthetic forehead doesn't fall off. Okay, so let's talk about terrain, vehicles in terrain.
So vehicles in terrain, really quick. Jet vehicles get to ignore all the terrain. They can fly right over it. Sorry, they don't get to fly. They have to make an altitude check to go up and over a building. But they can fly over the water. They can fly over the sand. They treat that just like dirt. Motor vehicles, when they're on pavement, they don't need to make any maneuver checks as long as they're on pavement.
Because how often do you fail to steer?
Yes, it's pretty
on the highway.
And then the snow and
sand.
The sand, those cost 2 spaces of movement if you're driving in a wheeled vehicle.
Yeah. So if I roll my my what's the word for when you're rolling to see how
maneuver
far
check.
You can go? Maneuver.
Oh no, your speed.
Your speed. So if my personal vehicle speed is like 10. If I am driving, say, from snow onto sand, every space I enter, it costs 2.
Costs the most.
Oh, I see. Yeah. So it's half as many. Okay, now suppose I'm, say, driving on a highway, say on the pavement or concrete, and I'm all of a sudden, so I'm, say, I can go 10, and I've got 3 spaces of pavement.
Right,
I
so you'd go
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, if I want to turn, wait a minute, I can still go 5 left. You know, I have 5 points of speed left.
You have 3 points of speed.
3 points of speed. But now I've got to do a maneuver check, and I still remember how much my speed is and how many points. But now I have to pause my driving and do my. Now, how does maneuver checks work?
It's a piloting skill check against your speed. So you chose 10 as your speed, so you need to make a 10. So if you've got a 3 skill, you need a 7.
I succeed.
And that's if you're a pilot, you can re-roll 1, and you can always spend.
Now, if I fail, my vehicle goes out of control.
Yes.
And how does that work?
It keeps traveling in the direction it had been traveling.
Oh my god! But now it's out of control. And then next phase, we have to resolve out of control.
Right, and you might ram into a building. You might all kinds of bad things might happen.
Oh, that's terrific.
But there it is.
One last thing I wanted to mention about bikes, both jet bikes and motorbikes, is that they actually can go diagonally in this game. There's a really cool rule for diagonal movement from a bike. How does that work?
If you're going, when you turn, instead of turning 90 degrees, you can turn 45 degrees. So you pick which square, which space you're traveling through when you're making a diagonal.
Okay, so suppose I'm driving through, say, a forest space. Now I get to this sort of axis point where there's, say, like it say in this particular, say I'm going this direction. There's forest to my left, there's clowns to my left, and jokers to my right. Right. So which of these spaces do I want to go through? It's a lot easier to drive over dirt.
Oh yeah, you drive through the dirt because whenever you travel through forest space, you have to make make a maneuver check, or you crash your vehicle.
Right, but it's cool. So I can sort of guide left, guide right, go left, go right, and go around. So that's pretty much how vehicles work in Dirtside. It's pretty cool. Check it out.